All right. How's everybody doing? Uh, Having a little technical difficulty for this particular showing, but hopefully we have got that out, upgraded some equipment, and just excited. Just excited. Let me reach out to my co-producer. How we doing? My co-producer says we're doing good, so um, I'm gonna go for it. So, as the title indicates, I would like to discuss today um, just this topic that me and my brother actually started talking about in lieu of Monday night's show. By the way, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is again, this is Marquette Leggett of Never Fit In. I'm relaunching this podcast, this vlog, this video vlog every Monday night uh, at 9 p.m. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. We will be relaunching every Monday night at 9 p.m. So I want to definitely put that plug out. Um, I want to definitely, I know um, I had some people who had joined in a couple of lives ago, but I ended up, I don't know what was going on with the sound. I do apologize, but I got that. It seems we got it together now. But I do want to say that we will be, I will be hosting this show every Monday at every Monday at 9 p.m. Okay. So today, really briefly, I wanted to talk about and discuss just what the topic said, which is uh, the journey of just explain what is never fit in. For some people it'll be the first real encounter, for lack of a better word, with never fit in. Never fit in is an evangelistic ministry that is dedicated to deliverance, deliverance, and understanding the totality of deliverance, understanding the body of deliverance, understanding everything that comes with deliverance. Because, as you know, deliverance does not happen just as a result of a demon being cast out. There is a process. There are processes. There are things that you definitely have to continue to do, and there are things you have to do in order to walk in the totality of deliverance. And that's what we discuss. That's what Never Fit In is about. I have been in ministry my entire life. And what I have realized while I'm in ministry is that people can truly still be connected to things that are not good for them while they are living life. They can still be attached to evil strongholds. They can still be attached to these things as they're going about their life, whether it be productive in ministry. You could be productive in ministry. You can be productive in a lot of areas and still deal with the lack of deliverance in your life. Monday night, we're going to really dive into what is deliverance, what is the healing and deliverance ministry, what does that mean, what is that um, particular thing, what is that ministry. But just briefly overview, just the intro to what um today I wanted to speak on. I was actually having a great conversation with my brother, and one thing came up that we were discussing, and that thing that came up was about false pride. False pride. And it's amazing to me how pride, one thing that we all know is, we all know about pride. I mean, we know about that. We're not strangers to pride. We know pride is a bad thing. We know that's the one thing that the enemy really, I mean, that God really hates, he dislikes, he does not like, he does not care for, and that's pride. We know that. But what we don't one thing we tend to um not fall into, or not falter, or not really pay attention to, is false pride. And false pride is something that can develop as the opposite of what pride is, as it indicates the word, but it predominates a lot of our pride. So, in other words, that word pride, meaning a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. And I'm just going to use Webster's dictionary here for this particular definition. So when you start talking about the and like and share this, please. We're definitely looking to expand this. This is again a relaunch in the beginning, but I'm looking to get it back to where it was in its previous state. So let's get into it. So when we're talking about pride, we're talking about understanding pride, and we're talking about pride. We're talking about the feeling that comes from one's own achievements. Now, when we break that word down and we look at that word pride, and we say, okay, now we are under this facade of our own achievements. We have become so consumed in our own achievements that now we pride is not the what's the word? Pride is not the absence or the presence of confidence. It's the presence of the origin of your confidence. In other words, there's nothing that we can do in and of ourselves. And the thing that God hates about pride is that pride puts you in a position, it puts you in a place that makes you feel that what you have achieved, you've done on your own. And the issue with pride is, and the reason that God hates that pride is because with Him being a creator, He has given the ability for you, or He has given you the ability to obtain those achievements. So now we walk into a situation where God now says, okay, because pride sticks in such deals with achievements and the person who achieves, pride now is the crossing over of confidence. Is not the You're not prideful because you're confident. Because I'm confident in what I do does not make me prideful. What makes me prideful is when I actually start believing that I'm the reason why I can accomplish such feats and achievements. That's when pride now takes over. That's when pride controls what you're doing. It controls and it becomes an altar. And when we're talking about pride, we're talking about that deep feeling, that deep circumstantial feeling that makes you feel that you are the reason why you have accomplished those achievements, or someone else has accomplished those achievements. Now, you can have pride in what you do. You can have pride in the way that you in your achievements, but confidence misplaced is the presence of pride. I'm going to say that again. Confidence misplaced, displaced, or misplaced is the presence of pride. And when you don't understand that pride now can operate so easily and distinctly, then you walk into a place where you pretty much don't want to be. So when we start talking about the absence of false pride, we start talking about people who actually have pride in things, that they really shouldn't have pride in. False pride now is the presence of being prideful in things that are not productive at all. So you got to understand, see, pride now, in the Webster's dictionary, in the natural sense of pride, you can't have pride without achievements. You can't have pride without achievements. Now, then you are some people that have no achievements, but just want to feel a certain way to the point that they operate out of a false pride. They don't achieve anything, and then they still want to act or to feel a certain way. In other words, we do this. We have false pride when we want the idols and the things of this world. What does that mean? It means false pride operates when you would rather have something you know you shouldn't have because it makes you feel good, rather than do what God asked you to do, and give Him the glory through those achievements. You see, false pride can be very, very dangerous. It can be very detrimental to your life, to your family. Pride alone is not bad, but see, pride now. When I take pride, or when the Bible talks about, the Lord detests a prideful man, and you start talking about pride, we're talking about someone who has crossed over from confidence to creator, meaning they believe that they are the reason that they have created, or they can create, or they can recreate your your situation. Now, the problem with this is that when a person crosses over to pride, and the reason that God hates it is because you begin to operate in what is known as false pride. False pride means that you now have taken the glory for something that you could never have achieved. Now, the Bible says that one plants and one waters, but it also says that the only thing that brings increase, and the only thing that's able to bring the increase, the only thing that has the ability to bring the increase is God. So God gives us these abilities, and He's the only one that has these abilities. So while these abilities are being displayed through our gifts that we have, that are unto repentance, that we grow up with. We grow up with these gifts, and we grow up with these talents. So now we walk into this area, and this place, and this atmosphere where our gifts now are making room for us. So we're helping people, we're showing people this, we're doing people that, we're moving people along, we're helping people, we're being consistent with helping people. And what happens is the inward man begins to take two directions, one of two directions. And that one direction is, God, I thank you that you are using me. And the other direction is, he should be happy that I am using, that he's being used by me. So there's a position that God is using me. Then there's another position that you are being used by me. And the problem with Satan, and even the problem with what we're talking about with this, is that he forgot that it wasn't him that created that glory. He forgot that it wasn't him and in his glory, so he walked in a false pride. See, false pride will cause you to have to argue about things that you cannot achieve. False pride will have you to purchase vehicles, and to purchase homes, and to purchase things, and to make accusations and statements that necessarily have nothing to do with truth, but they make you feel like you have achieved or have arrived. And I don't know why I keep saying this, but it's just like when people go and get materialistic things that they don't really need, and they go and they sacrifice, and they get materialistic things that they don't really need, and then all because they want to feel a certain way, and they want to feel a certain aspect. That's a pride. They want to feel like they've achieved a level of luxury that they really can't afford. So false pride now tends to rest and reside in the emotional feelings of how you derived, or how you want to see yourself through your eyes. Now, it's not, like I said before, it's not bad to have pride. The problem comes in when you begin to believe that you are the creator of that achievement. Again, that definition of pride is a strong, deep pleasure or satisfaction that derives from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. Okay, so we have two aspects of pride here: qualities and achievements. In other words, you can't fail and have pride. In other words, prideful people, I take that back. Prideful people want that satisfaction no matter what they're doing. False pride, on the other hand, makes you speak on things that you did not have a hand in achieving. False pride now puts you in a place to where, even though you could be perfectly wrong, and you're wrong, just because it makes you feel bad, you don't respond the way you should respond. You see, I understand that you know, that number one, pride itself can be a very, 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 very strong thing to deal with. But let's go deeper than that. Okay, and it's really, pride is really easy to detect. A person who's proud about what they've done, and their achievements. And how do I recognize somebody who walks into pride? They're very, very, very outspoken about their achievements, or they're very outspoken about their qualities, and it crosses over. And they use I a lot. They don't give God much glory concerning that creation of those qualities or those achievements. Now, again, confidence is not pride. Okay, I am confident, but misplaced confidence is pride. I am confident. Yes, God gives gifts, but even with that gift, there's one that waters, there's one that plants. Now, in order to water, you have to understand, in agricultural times, there was the watering process was so strategic that one specifically watered. So that means there had to be a skill set just to water, which brings me to my point of gifts. They had a gift to water. One had a gift to plant, because the one who watered didn't plant and the one who planted didn't water. But what God wanted to show out of this parable is that, but God brought the increase. Now, the prideful person would try to take the credit for the actual growth of the plant. In other words, one watered, one planted. Now, the achievement here is not the watering, the achievement is not the planting. The achievement here is the growth of the plant. That's the whole point of the process. That process with the plant is to the achievement here is to achieve the process of growth, where the plant now grows into something more than just a seed. So that achievement, God said, one plants, one waters, but the achievement of growth, the achievement of growth is in my hands. You cannot grow in any area, in any aspect, no matter how much you achieve, no matter what you do, without me approving your growth. And this is why God says, listen, pride is dangerous, because pride almost mimics you saying that you're responsible for that achievement. And you are not responsible for that achievement. God is the only one that can bring growth in that area. False pride now is a pseudo pride. It's even worse than pride itself, because some people operate in a level of pride that they can actually see that they actually have achievements. Now, false pride now is when you literally, and this is the revelation God gave me about false pride, is when you try to take responsibility, or you become prideful in something that you had no business even being prideful in. When you start talking about false pride, you start saying, okay, we oftentimes walk into false pride when we don't apologize, when we don't admit that we were wrong, when we don't say, I'm sorry. We walk in a false pride. We walk in a my abilities and my qualities. And the thing about Christians that could hurt us is, we are in God's kingdom. We have so many gifts, so many talents. We have so many things that we can offer the kingdom, offer God, offer. We have so many things, but our gifts can make us prideful. We can walk into a false pride. Man, isn't that something? We can walk into a false pride. What does that mean? Out of all the achievements that Satan achieved, the problem with his sanctification was he got to a point to believe that he was actually responsible for the glory, or the wave of glory, that the angels felt when he sung. Now, yes, he was prideful in his singing, he was prideful in his musicianship. But what he didn't understand was that he could not bring the achievement of glory. He could not bring God literally, and this is getting into another teaching, but the glory of God is equivalent. to him literally showing up. Now, there's never a time in the Bible, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there was glory and no God. In other words, there was no in person divination that showed. There was never a time that the glory showed, that God and his divinity and his divineness, and I shouldn't say, there was in his divineness that they didn't show himself, that there wasn't a divine showing. So glory now is God himself presenting himself to his people so they can get a glimpse of his loving kindness and his glory and his character. Now, in order to obtain that glory, it comes with a lifestyle of living, a lifestyle of worship, a lifestyle of praise. Now, the enemy or Satan now had gotten to a place to where he literally believed that he was the glory. And this is what made him made it so detrimental, is that he actually thought he created that glory. It's me. And they begin to worship him and they begin to follow him. And they begin not to look to God and say, man, you bring down the glory of God. But they begin to look at Satan or Satan, and they begin to say, look at Satan, look at him. Oh man, if I could just have his glory, if I could just be around his glory, they begin to give that particular thing to him. And that was not his glory. And understanding when we're walking in deliverance and we're walking in the ministry of deliverance, we have to understand that our gifts as deliverers and our gifts in deliverance have been given to us to plant or to water, but we cannot bring growth or increase. God can use us to plant. God can use us to water. But what we cannot do is bring growth or increase. We can't do that. God literally says that he reserves growth and increase for himself. So I just wanted to jump up here real quick and just talk about false false uh false false pride. False pride. I just wanted to speak on that and really bring into flourishing, or really bring into as we're going into Monday and as we're going into deliverance and understanding deliverance and talking about deliverance. One of the key things of deliverance is not walking into false pride. I want you to understand that pride itself deals with the accomplishments or qualities of a person or achievements of a person and how a person deals with those achievements. Now, when you start talking about pride and you start talking about maneuvering around pride and understanding pride, when I move into a place that my confidence is misplaced, then now I walk into pride. Confidence itself is not bad. Confidence misplaced is what brings on the pride or the altar of pride or the spirit of pride or the thing that God hates. And what do I say that? I'm saying that because now you walk into what's called false pride. And pride now and false pride is the first level. Pride itself is a level that God hates. But then there's another level. God first says that a prideful man he detests. But then there's a whole nother level of pride that God deals with. There's a whole nother place of pride that God talks about. And that's a false pride. That's when people start really believing, in operating in prideful things that you should never be proud of. Never. False pride deals with you having no achievements, but wanting the feeling of the achievement. I'm going to say it again. False pride has to deal with you having no achievements, but wanting the feeling of the achievements. In other words, I'm mad because I didn't work to get this money. But let's see. For example, when a child walks into false pride, now pride itself is saying, okay, I want, this is what I want to achieve, and I achieved it. And because I achieved it, I believe now that my confidence is in me, not in the God in me. So now I misplace my confidence, which is the presence of pride. Now, false pride now comes in because it's not as apparent. It appears to be false. It appears to be something that is not. Oh, this isn't pride. This is just your gift. Oh, this isn't pride. This is just how our family is. Oh, this isn't pride. This is just our generational thing. Oh, this isn't pride. I just want a luxury vehicle. Oh, this isn't pride. I just want to live in a big house. Oh, this isn't pride because God uses me in this way. And what happens is we walk into the false pride, which is much more detrimental than the actual literal pride that we can actually see. So what happens now is we walk into a place of false pride, that false pride that disguises itself through the gifts and the talents of the believer. False pride now disguises itself through the deceptions of the gifts and the talents of the believer. So now we're sitting and we're saying, okay, I have a gift in this area. God said I can have this. God said I can do that. And then we seek God. And maybe God is saying this is not the time, or maybe God is saying, oh no, man, don't go into debt. Don't get that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And so now we walk into an area where we say, well, it's not so bad. I just want to feel a certain way, or I just want to look a certain way, or I got to have a certain kind of car. And then Katie Souza says your idols start rioting on the inside. Then we walk into what we call a false pride, because now you're talking out of pride, and pride is starting to maneuver what you are calling God. False pride is one of the most, detrimental killers that I've seen throughout the Bible. And dealing with the spirit of deliverance, and then dealing with deliverance in ministry, people can get upset with you because of that presence of false pride. Sometimes you have to deal with people who really believe that they are, gifted, and sometimes they really are gifted in an area, but they've slid into a place to where their confidence now is misplaced. Confidence is now put in God, in them, and not in God. So now they start using scriptures to their benefit, or using different things to their benefit, not understanding that that's this taken out of context. False pride is something that can destroy the glory of God's in a person's life. I am so, and I tell you, this premises of false pride is something that we are going to really, really talk about, really, really deal with, really, really dive in on this vlog, podcast, whatever you want to call it. But I want to start really, really dealing with deliverance. Never Fit In, for those of you, again, who don't know, you can go on Facebook, Never Fit In TV. This is Never Fit In TV. This is a channel that's dedicated to the deliverance ministry, deliverance and healing, deliverance and healing. We will have guests from time to time. I have a lineup coming that definitely these individuals are radical in the deliverance and healing ministry. They will be joining, but I definitely want to set some premises and set some groundwork first with the deliverance and healing ministry. So, Never Fit In is an evangelistic TV lineup that talks about and discusses deliverance and the topic of deliverance and healing. And we have to understand the importance of deliverance in our Christian walk. I'm gonna give you a little nugget here, a real quick nugget. Deliverance is the presence, or deliverance, or the ministry of deliverance is the ability to understand the walk of sanctification. Deliverance is nothing more than a graduated evidence, or the graduated elevated sense of sanctification. Deliverance cannot happen without sanctification. As a matter of fact, deliverance is the womb, or sanctification is the process, is the tunnel of deliverance. So sanctification is not just something that we do, just because. The Bible says that how will they sanctify? And sanctification, and Jesus said before he left, God sanctified them through the word of truth, which is deliver them. How sanctification is the presence of deliverance. Sanctification is how you are delivered out of strongholds, how you deliver yourself out of the legal rights of the enemy that he has over your life, how you deliver yourself from unrighteous altars, how you deliver yourself from things in your bloodline that have been happening, generational curses that have been happening, things that have been happening. Sanctification is that process, and we call it deliverance. The deliverance whether you're the deliverer or the one being delivered. Deliverance ministry is the mastering of sanctification. It will cause you to get closer to God and understand it more. And I'm so excited that God has chosen me to really bring this to this generation to understand the power of deliverance in our lives. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Neverfitintv. Where we need you to subscribe. Let's get 1,000 subscribers in 6 months. Let's get to that 1,000. Also, you can go on Facebook, like Never Fit In TV on Facebook. We will be back every Monday night at 9 p.m. Deliverance, deliverance, deliverance. God bless you. Thank you for joining.